know that I don't have the greenhouse series finished up yet, but if you want to watch things in chronological order, you can go over to my playlist on my channel, because I do actually organize stuff in the playlist where they belong. But things don't always work out in chronological order on the farm. So we're starting on a new build, and we're actually building this for my daddy. It's on the same farm, it's just on the back side of the farm, his side of the farm. And this is a kit that he bought from Nash Building Systems down in Tarboro. It is a, I believe you call them bar joist truss. You'll see them. Steel trusses are sitting right here. They're in pieces that get bolted together. But if you're familiar with a bar joist, some people call them chicken house trusses. I've seen a lot of chicken houses. I've never seen one that I recognized as being built with these trusses. But that's what we're going to be using. And the way that type of building system works is you set the post either 10 or 12 foot. This building calls for the post to be 12 foot apart. Then the metal truss is clear span from one side to the other 40 foot. What goes in between them is 2x6 purlins that are stood on end. The metal screws directly to that. So the strength comes from these bar joist style trusses, the 2x6s being turned on end, and then what keeps it from racking and twisting and keeps it square is the metal when you screw it on top. So I'm going to take you through the process of building this. We've got the whole kit here is ready. He bought it complete from Nash down there. There's all the lumber for it. The trusses are over here. Came with sackcrete even. What we're doing here, these building plans call for these posts to be 4 foot in the ground. So we one man augered them as deep as the auger would go. The auger's not big enough around, so we are opening the holes up and taking them down another 12 inches by hand. This kind of sucks, but it's not that big a deal because there's only 16 posts for this building. It's kind of a neat system. It's a 40 by 84 and only has 16 posts. We're using 16 foot 6x6s, and they go in the ground 4 foot, so the sidewalls will be 12 foot tall. Should be a really nice building when we get it done. And I may bounce back and forth between greenhouse build and this, but like I say, everything will be in chronological order over in the playlist if you want to go binge a series. While I was at work today, the guys got all the post holders dug, and we use a transit to shoot the bottom of the holes so that all the holes will be the same. And we put a line, it just happened to be where our transit was set up at. Put a line on the post. We're going to get these 4 corners set, and then we're going to pull a string line between the post at perfectly level all the way around. We'll double check it with transit, but we're going to have that line perfectly level all the way around the building, get all the posts set at that point, and then we won't have to do any cutting, any measuring. Everything will be right at the top of the post. We'll just set the trusses and roll on. So that's where we're at now. We're going to get these 4 corners tamped in, and then we'll be ready to get the rest of them set. The way I like to set building posts is dry set them, I guess you could call it. Quickcrete probably don't recommend this, and Code may not recommend this. I'm sure plenty of people call me out on the comments, but that's alright. It works really good. You can just pour it in dry. The trick is just like tamping a fence post. You don't want to put too much in at one time. Put a little bit, tamp it, a little bit more, tamp it. But this way, you don't have to do a bunch of bracing and mess. And when you get done tamping these posts in, them babies, it might as well already be set up, and it will set up from ground moisture. And I have pulled out posts that have been put in like this, and you still had to beat the concrete off with a sledgehammer. So I promise you, it sets up just the same. And when we get done here, we're ready to set trusses. There ain't no waiting around for the concrete to cure. So that's just the way I do it. It's not the only way to do it, but so when we were digging the holes, we shot all these post holes with transit to dig them. My plan was to dig them all exactly the same depth, and if they had like a poured bottom in them or something, that would maybe work. But with a dirt bottom, you can't get it close enough to build a building out of. But I don't think it was time wasted because we maximized the usable posts sticking out of the ground. There's going to be a very small trim cut to take off of part of the post as a result of that. But you got they're working on setting the last post, and I've kind of eyeballed what I'm pretty sure is the shortest one. Got the transit set back up, and I'm going to sort of use the transit in reverse, I guess you'd say. I'm gonna get some help and set it to the top of this post and get my pickup right where it needs to be, where it's getting a good level. And then we're going to transfer that line to all the posts around here and square them up. Mark square line on. Have to mark 3 sides because I want to cut them with a skill saw. I got a chainsaw in the truck, but I'm way too particular for cutting things with a chainsaw. Well, I'm pretty disappointed. I thought we would have probably half the trusses set today. Got enough daylight. We probably could have set half the trusses. Till I figure out how I'm gonna set the trusses, we won't set any trusses. Did you get all that? I've got this boom pole for the skid steer, and it's made like a fork. Clips right on the mast of the skid steer, and with that 10 or 12 whatever foot sticking out there, and the weight of this truss, it is way too much for that Bobcat, 743 Bobcat, to pick up. And I've run that Bobcat enough to know, I guess it's because the tires are so close together on it. It's got plenty of power. It'll pick that truss up, no problem. The problem is, once on this particular skid steer, when you feel the weight shift to the front tires, it will go forward. And that would be really bad to have the boom at the top and this high dollar truss raised up in the air and flip down, because it's going to bend the truss all to pieces and it's going to flip the skid steer forward on its nose. The weight of this truss, it would be pretty violent. Could get somebody hurt, break a post off, bend the truss up. So we're just going to have to back up and punt. Where the cows are in here, and after this hurricane come through and dumped all this rain on us. You can see this pad's like a piece of Swiss cheese. It's pretty solid, but not nearly solid enough for our warehouse forklifts to run around in here. I appreciate you guys watching. I will see you next time.